Thank you for joining SeniorLivingGuide.com's podcast station, sponsored by Parrish Healthcare. We are a senior-focused podcast for seniors specifically. SeniorLivingGuide.com is a senior housing website that is specifically targeted for seniors and their caregivers to provide them better solutions for senior housing, for senior assisted living, skilled nursing, and home health care. I would like to introduce today that our two guests in the studio from Parrish. We have Dr. Pam and Janet as our guests.
Yes.
Dr. Pam Tronetti is a geriatrician and a physician who specializes in the care of senior citizens. Janet Rooks is a social worker with a master's in counseling and a dementia care specialist. They work together as the Parrish Senior Consultation Center, where they focus on the care of patients with dementia. Dr. Tronetti is the Director of Aging Services at Parrish, and Janet Rooks coordinates Parrish Senior Solutions, which provides education, resources, and support for seniors and their caregivers. Welcome, ladies. We're so excited to have you in the studio today.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
You.
And I really just want to mention that we really appreciate the fact that Parrish Medical and Parrish Healthcare provide the services specifically for seniors. So any senior that really needs anything from head to toe, they can call Parrish and find those services specifically targeted to their needs. So that's really great that Parrishes offer those services. So I just want to give a shout out to that you work so tightly with seniors. So today we really wanted to talk about something that I know is really important to a lot of seniors right now and their caregivers, even more so than ever, but it's always been a hot topic and an issue with seniors specifically is depression. So while anyone can really experience depression, it definitely is something that can be harder for seniors. So a lot of people are stressed out and depressed. Why does this specifically include seniors?
Well, there's chemical changes in the brain as we age, and literally the chemicals that keep us happy and kind of a up mood, they decrease, and the chemicals that can bring us down a little bit, cause depression, they increase. Mm-hmm. So the brain's kind of a setup for depression. And then, Janet, there's so many losses as we get older.
Exactly. They lose the ability to do the things they used to do, even, doing laundry, mm-hmm. cooking a meal.
Yeah.
Going out to dinner is a big thing because mm-hmm. they're on walkers. The physical limitations that they have as they age mm-hmm. are astronomical. So,
and I think when you say they, you mean we, because we're already seeing some of the changes that happen as we get older. We retire and we define ourselves by our job, or
right.
maybe our kids disappoint us. Not me, not
right.
Janet, but
no,
right. But sometimes our pets pass away, or we have to downsize our home, and there's lots of losses that come as we hit that stage of life.
Yeah, your kids grow up, move away.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a big
we
difference.
plan our entire life for when we retire. Mm-hmm. We're going to retire, we're going to travel, we're going to go on that dream vacation for, that wherever that may be. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, our health declines. Our loved one, our spouse that we made that promise years and years ago, has a major life change, an mm-hmm. event, whether it be dementia or something like that. That's what we see in our office is mm-hmm. the dementia. And all of a sudden, they're robbed of that mm-hmm. trip that they've thought about to go, to Europe or wherever. Right. And, I see calendars, those little pocket calendars, mm-hmm. and where it used to be that they were going to travel, now it's doctor's appointments.
Right.
They've got a specialist for every body part.
That's their new job.
That's their
mm-hmm.
new job.
Yeah.
And not only for themselves, my caregivers, but also for their spouse or their loved one. And, the children, the adult children that are taking care of them mm-hmm. are also taken care of. And I say adult children, I'm not talking about middle age, I'm talking about in their retired age, mm-hmm. because our patients are living longer.
Yeah.
And so now they're faced with the depression, and they're seniors. And they're also taking care of the grandchildren. And so it's a big thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it can be quite a conundrum in trying to work around those issues so that they can still have a happy life and still have a more fulfilled life. So what are some of the things that you can do to combat the anxiety and the depression? What are some of those conversations that you have with your patients?
Well, the first is to acknowledge how you're feeling, because depression is often a misdiagnosis, because people say, oh no, if I was depressed, I'd be sitting there crying all day long.
Right.
That's not it. It's you don't have the pleasure from things that used to give you pleasure. You have problems making a decision because you're so afraid of making the wrong decision. A lot of times it's you're frustrated and irritable, just a personality change, just angry. And people think, well, how can anger be a sign of depression? It certainly can be. And you're pushing people away when really you need to bring them closer.
Right.
You're also not sleeping. You're either eating, you're eating too much or not eating enough. You're sleeping too much or not sleeping at all. You find that in the middle of the day, you just shut down. You know, it's a matter of finding out exactly what's going on. You deserve an evaluation. Talk to your doctor and find out, is it a chemical imbalance? Is it something that you need? It's a medical issue that needs to be addressed, but you need to talk to your medical doctor.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought up about the sleeping, because I think that the misnomer is that basically if you are sleeping too much, that's depression, because that's what basically kind of the commercials say, that depressed people sleep. But the reality is, if you're not sleeping enough, if you're waking up in the middle of the night or that type of stuff, that can be depressed too. And I don't think a lot of people really realize that. So that's kind of new information, I think. So
there's also medical causes for depression. You could have an underactive thyroid. You could have a vitamin deficiency. You could have sleep apnea. You could have all kinds of medical problems that masquerade as depression. Not to mention the side effect of your medication, if you read that package insert. So there could be other contributing factors.
Right. So it may not just be life, and you think it's just life, and the reality is there's a lot of super simple fixes that might be just medicine related, that might be just need to be adjusted, that will make you feel a whole lot better.
And it's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of medications out there, a lot of antidepressants, and what worked for you, what worked for your friend may not work for you.
Right.
But what works for your cousin or your sister or your brother or your parent may work for you. You know, so find out, or talk to your loved ones, talk to people and find out, and talk to your doctor. Find out what's out there to work for you. The commercials on TV, they're marketing.
Absolutely.
But, you know, jot down those names of those medications, but also keep a list of your medications so that when you do go into the doctor, read those inserts so you know that it could possibly be a side effect to that medication.
Absolutely. So do you find that seniors, just because I think they're older, there's not a real thought behind the fact that they could actually harm themselves? Do you see that that does happen with seniors?
That's something people don't think about. But yes, you know, if you say that about 25% of people over 65 are clinically depressed, older men are the most efficient when it comes to killing themselves. They use guns. Other ways of doing it are the little lady who's been living alone. She's isolated. She's getting sadder and sadder, and she just decides to take all of the medicines for the week. She's found lying there, and it's, oh, well, she must have just passed away in her sleep after all. She was elderly. She had heart problems. That's probably what happened, when actually it was a hidden depression that could have been helped.
That's so disheartening.
And you're right, Dr. Pam. Dr. Pam, you're absolutely correct. And, you know, and the thing is, you as family members, as caregivers, be in tune with that. In our office, it's addressed. You know, we ask every patient, are you sad? Are you having any thoughts of hurting yourself? If someone does voice that they're having that thought, do you have a plan? You know, we follow up with that. It's not just, well, yeah, I've thought about it. Well, what, you know, how do you plan on doing that? What do you plan on doing? And, you know, and we'll drill them down. You know, oh, well, you know, I've got a gun. Well, I'm just going to get a gun. Well, what are you going to do with that gun? Well, I'm not going to do anything with it. I just thought I might. So, you know, we follow through with those questions because, you know, every one of us have gotten frustrated, have felt down, felt with the blues, and, you know, oh, I just wished I could die. I just want to go see, you know, my grandma. And my grandma died. Everything was perfect when I was a child. You know, I miss my husband of 40 years. I just wished I could go with him. But, you know, those deep convictions that our patients have, seniors have, that, you know, I would never hurt myself.
Right.
But I just wished it was over. So that's the reason we're going to drill them down and ask those questions to make sure that they don't have a plan. They don't have access to something that's going to hurt themselves. But if they do, then we're going to address that. We're going to follow through on that and make sure they're not going to hurt themselves.
Right. So what are some different treatment options? I know that there's medication, but are there other different things that you would, like, steps that you would take other than, you know, the medication?
Absolutely. The hallmark of health, if you ask me how to treat any disease, I'm going to start by saying diet and exercise, diet and exercise, diet and exercise. So, yes, a healthy diet rather than, you know, processed foods and sugary foods. And, you know, not too much, not too little. Adequate to nourish your cells, get all the good vitamins and trace elements in there. Exercise, walk outside and clear your head. You know, do some yoga. March in place if you have to. But get that body moving to release those endorphins that, again, raise your mood.
And there's also, you know, the sit and fit. Yoga on TV, and, you know, I hear, I can't exercise, I can't do this. Anybody can. You know, raise your arms up, push your leg out. There's also, you know, I'm a big brain games. You know, do some adult coloring book for my, you know, my caregivers. I'll tell them, you know, go to the dollar store, walk down the aisle, and go to the children's section. Go down there and get the 50-piece puzzle. You know, and put it on a card table or on the coffee table, and work it. Recently, I was home, didn't feel that good. My best friend up in Tennessee, where I grew up, that's where this accent came from, by the way, she mailed me an adult coloring book and the neatest little colored pencils that has a sharpener in the end of it. So in the evenings, I color. I color out the lines. It doesn't matter.
That's right. You get to color outside
I get to
the
color
lines
outside
now.
the lines.
Well, my mom used to have those coloring books, and my aunt does them all the time, and she posts those pictures on Facebook.
Exactly.
And they're, I mean, if you don't color out of the lines, they're actually gorgeous. Some of them are intricate, and
Yes, they are.
they look like beautiful paintings.
Exactly.
She loves them, and I think that is such a fantastic idea. And you can order them all kinds of different places in themes, and different ideas that are like your type of thing, whatever your interests are. I know she does a lot of birds just because she really likes a lot of birds, and so that's really a really great idea to spend your time. And if you're spending a lot of time sitting in doctor's appointments and things like that, you can bring, you know, a flat board, and you can do that while you're waiting. So there's a lot of opportunity with that.
Because they have the little pocket adult coloring books, or the coloring books.
Oh.
My mother does jigsaw puzzles.
Okay.
So last year I gave her 2 black and white jigsaw puzzles. She looked at me and
That
kind of
sounds
frowned.
complicated.
She looked at, they were beautiful, the picture, and then I gave her the colored pencils to color them. They were 500-piece puzzles. One of them was 500, the other was 100-piece. So they weren't real difficult because she loves working puzzles. She'll set it up on the end of her dining room table and work on them for a while, and then, you know, just when she has spare time and, you know, want to do something, she loves doing those puzzles. And then, so I'm not a puzzle person. I get frustrated, but it's it's relaxing for her. It's a challenge, and she loves it. So do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Find a challenge, but find something that you've always enjoyed, and then mix it up a little bit.
Right.
But challenge your brain.
You know, it is harder now because we could say be creative, you know, bake something, work in the kitchen. But because it's not bake something because you can take it to the church banquet, because there's no church banquets anymore.
Right.
There's no let's all go walk for Alzheimer's. It's harder to find these things to do.
Now,
Right.
they say through the pandemic, it's average of 10 to 15 pounds people have gained because they're not getting out and about because they're afraid to even walk outside their home.
Right.
Because, you know, it's not a matter that you can't go out in your yard, but, you know, we've been told to stay home. And with seniors, they have interpreted that I need to stay inside my house.
Right.
Yeah. So
And so, you know, folks aren't doing their yard anymore. They're not mowing their lawn. They've got lawn services doing that. You know, so they're not even getting out for the fresh air that Dr. Pam was talking about. So, you know, get out and about.
Right.
Breathe that air. Go get out of your comfort zone and do something that you might not have to. Journaling is really, really good.
That's
so
huge.
Get your emotions out. What I've also seen, and if you don't feel comfortable in what you've written down, put it through the shredder. Get those out because you may be dealing with things that have creeped up, that you have stifled down years and years ago that were very painful. Something might have happened to you as a child and you've never told anyone.
Yeah.
But as you've gotten older, the media now is loose with a lot of information that we didn't, as you know, when I was a child,
you didn't talk about things.
You didn't talk about
No.
anything.
You
The
just-
media, the TV shows were very stern and they didn't talk about certain things. Now you turn on TV and it's a lot of things that were not there
Right,
back in
exactly.
the, you know, years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dr. Phil and Oprah, they've opened the door to be able to talk about this, whereas
Right.
a few generations ago, you just didn't mention how your parents treated you or,
Exactly.
or, you know, what happened within your family.
Yeah,
Right.
and it was real. It happened. It happened. But we had to, you know, it was stifled in. So as our seniors are getting older, whether it be with the dementia or they are just, they're being saturated with it. They're now having to deal with it.
Right.
And so that is causing a whole lot of depression, a whole lot of issues that they never thought they would ever have to do. They'd forgotten about it. They had stifled it they had stuffed it so deep, they had forgotten about it. So now it's at the forefront.
Right. Right. I know when, after my mom passed away, I found so many journals. She was a journaling queen. I did not know.
Oh, wow.
And she had several years where she had just a short journal of literally every day. And at the end of her journal, she had a reason to be grateful. No matter what she was going through. And she would journal something that she was grateful for that day. And that to me was like the best part of that entire journal because she was going through a lot. She had cancer at the time. So no matter what was going on that day, chemo, whatever, she had a reason to be grateful. And it would be something so tiny or small. And I think that that's probably a lot of what got her through some of the most depressing times during that time in her life. So I think sometimes, you know, digging deep and finding what the best part of your day was that you're grateful for can also like really pull you out of something as well. So
That is wonderful, that attitude of gratitude. And, you know, the other thing you could do is talk to other people.
yeah.
You know, the support groups of, you know, adult children of alcoholics or support groups if you are a caregiver and you're feeling like, wow, I was robbed of the things I expected to do, or to find a therapist,
Right.
a counselor.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of support groups online. There's also what I have found is there's some counselors online that, you know, Doctor on Demand, for example. You can just call and you can have a counselor there.
Okay.
Or check your insurance to see if you have the managed care to find out who the counselors are. We have some really good counselors here in Brevard County.
Okay.
And if anyone can call me in my office. I'll help you find someone.
Okay.
And, you know, face-to-face or like a telehealth do a telehealth counsel.
Oh, yes. I understand telehealth is very good.
It's
been especially good during the pandemic
during
as
the
well.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'll help you find a counselor.
Okay.
You deserve happiness as you get older. You deserve to be validated, and you deserve to for some peace of mind.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
and it just to work through what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody does.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So if you're doing counseling, but that's something needing a little bit more and you need to go on to the medication side. So tell me a little bit more about what you would need or how you would evaluate someone and what kind of medications, how would that kind of work on the medication side?
We have so many options now. There's probably a couple of dozen antidepressants, and we personalize them because some people come in and say, I'm dragging, I have no energy, I just don't feel like doing anything. Now, of course, first we're going to say, let's look at your other medical conditions, your medications. I want you to get up and eat right and exercise. But we might use an antidepressant that is more of a mood booster, more of an energizing medicine that you would take in the morning. Other people have more anxiety, and we don't realize anxiety is the flip side of depression. So we would use an antidepressant that might have more of a calming effect.
Okay.
And again, people will describe it as, I was on the roller coaster with the big hills and my heart was pounding and I was anxious and then I'd go down deep. These don't erase your feelings. They don't numb you. But the person says, now I feel like I'm on the little hills and I can manage the little hills because it's more normal.
Right.
So there's lots of options.
Okay. So you really just do a full evaluation to see what's going to be the best fit for someone that would need a medication. So I know
Can I say something?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
I just
absolutely.
want to individuals to be careful about self-medicating and be careful about the over-the-counter supplements to try to self-medicate, because you're not. With any medications that you may be taking, be very careful about what else you're putting in your body with the over-the-counter herbs and supplements and everything, because you don't know how it may interact with your medications. So make sure you talk to your doctor.
Okay. I did not even know that wasn't a thing, that there was self-medicating natural.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
I
don't
did not
spend enough
know.
time in the drugstore, obviously.
You
Yeah.
go to the drugstore, there's a whole section there, and if you go
Okay.
into a health food store, they have shelves and shelves of that.
Okay.
And, and not to say anything bad about it,
Correct.
but just make sure what you're putting in your body, but make sure also your doctor knows what you're putting into your body and how it could affect the use of your medications. But you could get yourself in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not a bad thing to take them, but check with your doctor before you do.
Exactly. Because, for example, because I like to read the labels, there was something marked energy boost. Well, it was 200 milligrams of caffeine. So if you're thinking, I'm down in the dumps, maybe I'll take this. 200 milligrams of caffeine, if you have a heart arrhythmia or you are anxious, that's going to harm you, or it might interact with some of your other medication.
And you will never get a good night's sleep.
There's that too. Yes.
Yeah. Just think if you're on hypertension medication and you do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep, so-
absolutely. Wow.
Yeah. Read the labels and have a trusted counselor, doctor, nurse practitioner, someone at the doctor's office to at least give you an idea of what are you taking.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I appreciate that. That's not something I've ever really, thought about or really considered in natural, medications or anything like that. So I really appreciate that. That's really great information. So any of the side effects for antidepressants, what would they typically be if someone were going to have side effects that they would have concerns about?
Because you have that wide range, if something is going to cause, let's say, it's going to calm you down, well, maybe it might make you drowsy. Or if something is going to be more of a mood booster, maybe you are going to feel more anxious. We always say, if you walk out the door, you take 1 pill, 2 pills, 3, and you have a question, a concern, you call somebody and say, is this something I should expect? Is this something that's going to wear off once my body gets used to it? Or is this something that I need to stop this, cross it off the list, and try something else? And your pharmacist can help you too.
Right.
I love having people at one pharmacy and they have a personal pharmacist to go over the side effects and tell them what to watch for.
Right.
And also, the pharmacist is going to know if you're taking some medication that it could interact with. If you take all of your, if you get all of your meds filled at that same pharmacy, it's going to pop up. It's going to do an alert on their computer, and they're going to say, "Hey, you're taking such and such, and the doctor's just ordered this. Your cardiologist orders this. It may not. It's going to interact."
Now, is that at any pharmacy, or is that at more boutique pharmacies, or the large pharmacies have the same? They're all set up the same way.
They are.
They are.
Okay,
They
that's
are.
good to know.
The problem comes when people are mailing away for one medication and getting the other one at the local pharmacy, but then they get a third one at the pharmacy down the street because it's cheaper.
Right.
And then the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is dispensing.
Right, which can be hard if you have to do a mail-in, if that your insurance requires it, but then they don't provide or offer a different type of medication and you have to go somewhere else for that, which can be a little bit difficult. So you still have to have that conversation if you know that you're doing that.
Right, or you could take all the medications to your pharmacist and say, do you guys know I'm on this too?
Right, and see if you can get some help with that. Yeah, that's a really good tip because that's not something I typically think about. I'm not on a lot of medications at this point in my life, but it's not something I've ever really thought about.
Exactly.
So it's good. I know that when my parents were older, just trying to even keep their medications, and then my mom was throwing in vitamins, which I'm not sure if that was a good idea or a bad idea now that you talk about it. But I know that she thought it was trying to be helpful. So just trying to keep track of that when you take it, how often you take it, it was a pistol. It's definitely hard. And then how they interact with each other, I don't even know. And there were multiple doctors that were being seen. So you've got one doctor prescribing something. Does he know if the other doctor was prescribing it? We're just not sure. I'm not sure. She may have been, but I don't know. So when you're on the antidepressants, I know that some people can be on them for very long term. Is that something you recommend? Or is that something that you want to do for a short period of time, try to wean someone off? Or how do you kind of monitor that?
Usually, if it's like a big life change, a tragedy, you lost someone, you had to move, you might try an antidepressant for, say, 3 months, and then try to wean off of it. And if that doesn't work, you try it for 6 months.
Okay.
And then try a wean, and then a year. Many people, because it's a brain chemical change, they need it for the rest of their lives, or the whole life. There's people who have been on something since they were 30 or 40.
Okay, that's good to know. So, and to stop an antidepressant, just like if you prescribe an antidepressant, you highly recommend that they not just go cold turkey. They really need to be weaned off of it.
Yes, I mean, if you take one or, the pill for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and it doesn't agree with you, you can stop that. But if you've been on it for months, years, you need someone to help you wean off of it, to slowly get you off it. It may take 2 or 3 months.
And you would just decrease the dosage. Okay, that's good to know, because I know, you never want anyone just to cold turkey off of a medication, I would imagine.
And I'm going to jump in here. Be real careful about alcohol, mixing alcohol with, alcohol's a depressant. We think of alcohol as something that, hypes us up, especially when we're younger. We'd drink for that reason. But alcohol's a depressant. It slows down the brain, it slows down the body, and the effect it has on everything. So 1 drink in someone over the age of 65 is equivalent to 3.
I did not know that.
You're just getting so smart
I'm
today.
getting so smart today. I did. Not only did I not know that, but I didn't know that it was that it would put you in that state of mind. People a lot of times drink to just kind of decompress, and I think
chill.
that's what they're thinking. I need a drink to just decompress. But you also know people sometimes will drink to excess to get rid of their worries per se.
They're self-medicating.
They're self-medicating.
Or they'll drink and then the inhibitions are gone. So, but in seniors, that one glass of wine is equivalent to 3 glasses of wine in someone that is in their 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
So that is a question that we'll ask, not because we're being nosy, but because we need to know. Dr. Tronetti needs to know. Dr. Pam needs to know what is going into the body, what is happening, how is it affecting the brain,
Right.
and how is it affecting the medication.
Right. Wow, that's really good information because I don't think people really realize that. So really 1 glass of wine is probably all you should have in an evening.
Or none.
Or none.
You know,
If you're
or
having,
none.
yes. If you come to us and you have depression and memory problems, we're probably, again, going to wean you off of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't just go from 2 drinks a day to nothing and, get some options. Other festive beverages, spritzers, non-alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So are there ways that you can avoid depression in your life? So depression a lot of times can be something that, in my opinion, and you correct me if I'm wrong, please, it can be somewhat inherited. If you've had a family member, your mom and your sister have had depression issues, then you may be more prone to have depression issues as well. So if you already know this and you want to kind of avoid it, are there certain lifestyle choices or vitamins or certain things that you can do to kind of avoid having those issues?
Well, if you've got the family trait, the genes, and you have your mom's depressed, your mom has a history of depression, your sister and your brother have a history of depression, I'm not sure there's something you can do to avoid it, but there's things that you can do to address it.
Okay.
You can avoid the alcohol, which we know is a depressant. You can talk to your doctor to look at your medication to see if any of those have a side effect that could be causing you to be depressed. A healthy lifestyle that Dr. Pam was talking about. But you may also need the medication to address the chemical imbalance, because if you have a family history of several family members that are depressed, then it may be in your genetic makeup, and there's nothing you can do to change that genetic makeup other than medication. Lifestyle choices, are very important, but exactly the chemical makeup in your brain, if you have several family members that are depressed, you can't just ignore it and say, oh, well, I'm not going to be depressed. I'm just going to sit here, or I'm going to get I'm going to exercise it away. You can't do that.
So getting back to like the exercise, the reason why exercise can help you, is it like the release of an endorphin? Is that why it's helpful? It gives you like a little bit of energy. What's the reason why exercise is helpful?
That's the general thought, but the brain is so complex that I'm not sure we have the whole entire answer. But for anyone with depression, actually for anyone with dementia, the number one recommendation is physical activity, physical exercise. It's like everything that you do from the neck down helps from the neck up.
Yeah, I know even just for me, when I'm moving and exercising and active, I feel better about my life. I feel better about myself. And it's just, you just generally feel better. And I can't imagine that wouldn't translate throughout your entire life.
Right, because when you're sitting there, you're ruminating. You're bringing up all the bad stuff that has happened. You chew on it for a while, and then you swallow it back down.
Right.
But if you're working on, wow, I'm going to bike up this hill, that's what you're thinking about.
Right.
Instead of all the bad stuff that's accumulated.
Right. And when you're sitting, I think you're thinking about all the things you should be doing. Right.
And
Yes.
and 9 times out of 10 you don't get them done,
Oh,
and then you
no.
feel bad about yourself, and then you go to the kitchen and get something to eat, and then it's like, oh well, I shouldn't have eaten that, and you should on yourself, and I should have done this. Oh well, poor pitiful me. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. So then you have the rest of those cookies that were in that sleeve. And, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start exercising tomorrow. I'll start my diet tomorrow. And then you go to bed and you feel like a slug, and then you feel worse and you don't sleep. And then it just throws you into that vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying that you become a gym rat or you do your first marathon and sign up for all this. We're talking about the changes in lifestyle to empower you to be the best you can be, to be your best person.
Right. Just to feel good.
Just to feel good, and and to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I think we are at the bottom of the half hour. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back with Dr. Pam and Janet.
Hey, Mom, how's the retirement home search coming?
Oh my gosh, I'm just so stressed out. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, why are you so stressed? What's the matter?
I don't know where to find anything. I just need everything in like one place and know what all the options are.
Does the idea of searching for senior housing seem overwhelming and you just aren't sure where to even begin? SeniorLivingGuide.com has great news for you. We offer a one-stop solution to take the stress out of your senior housing search. At SeniorLivingGuide.com, both our statewide Florida edition book and website are created to make your senior housing search very easy for you to navigate. We provide details on communities, including retirement, assisted living, skilled nursing, memory care, and home health, allowing you to decide which best fits your needs and then connecting you directly with those communities. Visit us online at SeniorLivingGuide.com and start your search today and start de-stressing.
At Parrish Healthcare, we believe in our community. We believe in keeping our community safe. We believe in the art of healing. We believe in healing patients, healing families, healing communities. We believe in the best and brightest working together for the common good. At Parrish Healthcare, our team focuses on you as an individual because every life is a work of art to us. Parrish Healthcare, where the art of healing comes to life. Visit parrishhealthcare.com/healthaware for a free health risk assessment.
At Parrish Healthcare, we believe every life is poetry in motion, motivated by strength and determination. As your bone, muscle, and joint healthcare partners, we believe in blending the art of healing with the science of medicine to keep your body in motion. We believe in healing patients, healing families, and healing communities. For a free orthopedic health assessment, visit parrishhealthcare.com/orthoaware. Parrish Healthcare, where the art of healing comes to life.
Thank you for joining us. Once again, we are back with Dr. Pam Tronetti and Janet Rooks with Parrish Medical Center on healthcare. So we talked a lot about senior depression. I thought it would be good to talk a little bit about the caregivers and the depression for the caregivers of seniors, because I know that it's really, really difficult. It's one of the hardest jobs to do, and really, honestly, the most unrecognized a lot of the time, because they are the ones in the trenches doing a lot of the work, and it can be very, very heartbreaking because they really are taking care of their loved ones. And then a lot of times, both of you work in the dementia care side. A lot of times it's their loved ones that no longer recognize them or can relate to them as they did, either growing up or even as adults. So it's a double-edged sword for them. So how does that, how do you work with them, and how does that kind of affect them? How does that manifest?
Well, we always say caregivers are our heroes, but they're not superheroes.
Right.
They're human beings, and they have needs too. And that's the first thing to go with caregivers is they say, oh no, I can stay up all night taking care of mom or dad. Oh no, I don't need to have a good meal. But the problem with caregiving is it never ends. It's our favorite reference book is The 36-Hour Day. That's what we recommend people read because that's what it's like. A caregiver can't say, honey, I'm having a bad day. Could you please cook the meal and, take the car to the garage? So caregivers get worn down. They get depressed. There's just all these emotions crashing down on them.
Right.
And the thing is, we buy tissue by the case. Every exam room, every office in our building, in our office, has a box of tissues. And, I do the caregiver support group. And validation that they're going through what they are, validation that they are a caregiver. People walk in my office and sit down and they just start crying. And it's like, where did these tears come from? And it's a safe place to be. It's a safe place to land.
Because they can't do it anywhere else. Because they have to be strong everywhere else.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They're having to be strong for the person they love, they're cared for. They have to be strong for their siblings. They have to be strong for their adult children. They have to be strong for their grandchildren. They have to be strong for everybody in their life. But they come into our office. Prior to this pandemic, I'm a hugger, and this is killing me, absolutely killing me.
Yeah.
I would go over and just hug them.
Right.
Just hold on. And it was like they didn't let go. They did not want to let go. And it was everything from this little bitty 90-year-old woman that was just, the perfect little grandma to, a lieutenant colonel that was 6'4", that hadn't been hugged in years.
Right.
And they just don't let go.
Right.
Because they were dealing with the same thing.
Right.
They were handling in different ways, but it's like they're having to learn how to do all this stuff. And yeah, they're depressed. They don't call it depression, but they're depressed. At the support group, they come in, they're angry. That's how that's how they're addressing their depression, is with anger.
See, I would have never expected that, but I understand it. So what causes the anger? It's just they feel like it's all been kind of put on them, and they're dealing with it the best that they can, and they don't feel appreciated, or exactly what.
Well,
What do you think that?
It comes from a lot of different places, and it goes to a lot of different places. We have in our mind, being a caregiver is standing next to a sweet little lady sitting there in an armchair in a lilac dress sipping tea. It might be somebody that maybe you didn't like very much when you were growing up, and now you're taking care of them, and you're remembering all the hurts and all the things that were said to you, and now you have to care for their every need.
Right.
It may be, as with a couple, you have danced the same steps for decades. Now you have to change the way you speak, you act. Maybe they did chores that now you have to take over. Maybe of the 7 children, you're the one taking care of mom or dad. So you're angry at the parent that the person was. You're angry at the other kids. Maybe you're angry at the doctor who didn't make the diagnosis quick enough. Maybe you're just angry at people at your job who don't understand that you've been up all night.
Yeah.
And you've had to quit your job. Some of my caregivers had to quit their job, and there they are. They they were nearing retirement. They were nearing they loved their job, and here they are taking care of someone that wasn't even nice to them.
Right.
And they're angry.
Yeah.
And they'll walk into the support group. I've had them folding those arms over their chest and then just spewing it out. And
that makes sense.
And coming in with sunglasses on where they have cried and and the neat thing about a group that I have found is everybody's been there, everybody's done that, and the support and love and nurturing that they give one another. And the pandemic right now, unfortunately what we're dealing with that is my groups can't meet. So they are talking to each other over the phone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have a little phone network, but we've got the Alzheimer's Association and some other groups that they're all meeting online, through Facebook. The groups are meeting, just because they're not able to go into the brick and mortar room and sit and share with one another. So when someone says something about where's the support group, where can I do it, I'm just telling them to go online and find it through the Alzheimer's Association or whatever. If it's disease specific, to go to those groups and find, because they're out there and they're good groups. They're not my group, but they're good groups.
Right.
But they can find the support. They can ventilate what's going on and it can be validated. And that's what what I'm seeing with the caregivers is they need validation. Yeah, I know what you're going through.
Right.
I know exactly what you're going through. You know, my mom did the same thing to me. My dad did the same thing. Well, what did you do? How did you handle that? How did you, you know, when you couldn't get a good night's sleep, what did you do? Well, you know, Janet told me about some caregivers that I could pay to get somebody to come in there. There was such and such agency, and I got a good night's sleep. You know, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, caregivers. And then once they get acceptance of that, with acceptance is peace of mind.
Right.
Because they're fighting to hold on to what was normal for them. It's not that. It's a new life.
That's really great. So do you guys see the caregivers as well when they come in?
Yes, we want to have the caregiver come in with the patient, and then at one point we separate them out so we can talk privately to the caregiver. And I wanted to bring up one of the big things we deal with caregivers is guilt. And what do we say about guilt, Janet?
Guilt is a gift you give yourself. Nobody can make you feel guilty. In fact, I have a plaque in my office that says that. One of my caregivers made that for me. But yeah, and it's really neat because all of my caregivers in the group, when someone says that, they will all turn to that person, and in sync, they'll say, guilt is a gift you give yourself.
Right.
No one can make you feel guilty, but we all have it. We all take it with us.
Yeah.
We all use it. We wear it on, we carry it on our back.
Yeah.
Is the guilt because we can't do what we want to do.
Yeah, but Janet, even if you don't feel guilty, there's relatives who are going to pack your bags and send you on a guilt trip.
Oh, yeah,
because
they
they will come in and say, you're not doing enough, and why don't you take care of him the way we think you should? So the guilt fuels the depression.
Everyone has an opinion and a suggestion, but it's not something they're willing to do. So it can be very difficult for a caregiver to take that from all different sides, and yet it becomes their responsibility. And then if they don't follow through, they do have that guilt, and it can definitely cause depression. I get that. It's separating that and saying, you know what, I'm in charge. I'm doing this. I'm taking all the responsibility. I'm doing the best that I can. And so it's very difficult. It's very difficult for families, I would imagine, to stay intact and happy and keeping everything, you know, without any bickering.
It's impossible.
During that time
frame. It really
frame.
is impossible because it's fluid. What worked yesterday is not going to work tomorrow.
Right.
What's working in this moment, it's a snapshot in time. And that family member that's giving advice is doing it based upon what happened for them in their history with that person.
Right.
And they may not be there doing what you're doing as a caregiver, but they're doing it a lot of times they're doing it out of love. They're doing it out of the suggestion of what they want it to happen. So I usually just tell caregivers to say, thank you, how's your mom? Thank you, what's going on, how's your job? Thank you, and thank them, and then change the subject because they're not going to win. You know, they're not going to win the advice. So they validate that someone's giving them advice, and then they change the subject. So thank you for that advice. How's your job? What's going on with the kids? Are they the grandkids? What are they doing? Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. What's going on with so-and-so? So it validates that they've given you some crappy advice, and then you just go on.
That is honestly some of the best advice I have heard. I love it. I mean, it's super simple, very basic, but it's to the point and moving on. Yeah. I like it. Very, very good.
And caregivers, aside from feeling guilty, they feel selfish if they take an afternoon off to go get a massage or even take a bubble bath, you know, Calgon, take me away for an hour.
Right.
And we have to say, look, selfishness is when I want to take something from you for my gain. Self-care is when you're taking time for yourself so you can come back and be a better caregiver.
Yes. And there's a lot of home health care companies out there that are very, very good. You have to do your research and find what fits best for you. and your price point and the services that they offer. And you can, I mean, that's something that we do. And you really can find some really good quality healthcare providers that can take care of your loved one while you go and do some of those things. You should go get a massage, go do some of those things, especially a massage. You think that releases some stress and anxiety. I think that that's really important that you definitely do that.
Yeah, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of someone else.
No.
Yeah, and then there's those promises. Well, I promised Dad that I would take care of Mom. Well, you're still taking care of Mom. You just have a team helping you now.
Right, exactly. And you can't take care of her nearly as well when you're exhausted, when you're mentally and physically drained, as when you're refreshed. You know, even when you're a mom and you're a new mom, and if you're just taking care of baby, you're a much better mom when you get that break and you can go do something where you're energized, refreshed, whatever. You become a better mom. It's no different.
Yeah.
Taking care of
in
a
senior solutions, people will come in. I'll sit with them and just, they kind of know what they want and what they need, but to sit there and devise a plan, if you will, of downsizing or coming up with, I may want to sell my home. I've got this huge home full of furniture, full of antiques, that I need to do something. I want to move into senior housing. I want to do this. I may need Lifeline. I may need something along that line of just sitting there with them. And through senior services, senior solutions,
right?
It's all complimentary. So all that time that I spend with that senior or that caregiver, that it's complimentary. There's no charge for it, and just coming up with a plan. So they leave there with brochures. They leave there with my contact card, and I've had people call back 4, 5, 6, 7 years later that they've got that card in their wallet and they're calling back. Do you remember me? I talked to you, and oh yeah. And but it's interesting because as they tell their story, it'll click. But yeah, it's kind of neat.
So the depression of caregivers, it's all the things we've just said: exercise, diet, possibly medication, plus get that support.
Right.
Get that team together. Let other people help you.
Right. So there's definitely online support right now. I know Alzheimer's Association offers it, and then you have other recommendations, and we can include that, the recommendations here. So we'll include that in the summary of this podcast. So that will definitely be available. So we'll get that from you as well. And then also, let me see where else. So there's online, but after COVID, when it starts opening up, there will be actual groups that you can go to. Now, are any of those offered at Parrish?
Yes, we meet at Heritage Hall, which is in the Health Village on the South Campus of Parrish Medical Center. It's in the Historical Health Village. And we meet twice a month.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how big is the group?
It's usually around 12 to 17 people. That's usually... And everyone, it's confidential. I call it Vegas. What happens there stays there.
Right.
And everybody gets a chance to speak. And it's uplifting.
It's life-changing.
It really is. I walk back in the office and Dr. Tronetti goes, I know, it was awesome. But it really is. I have about 3 or 4 men that their spouses have passed away, but they still keep coming because they have so much to offer. And a couple of women that had been there that their spouses had passed away, they came until they didn't need to come. The same thing, and it's like a family. They do check with each other when they're not there. The men bring muffins. I can't look at a coffee ring without thinking of one of them because he always brings the coffee rings when they're buy one get one at Publix. But I make coffee and I have a confidentiality statement that I read, and it really is. It is life changing. They do share their own experience and what got them through it. And it is just absolutely phenomenal. I have the tissues and they're used, but we laugh, we cry. one of the ladies in the past, you were talking about family members and giving advice. It was a family get together, and she said she looked down at her arm and she said that she had one of those bracelets, WWJD, and it wouldn't be what would Jesus do, it'd be what would Janet do.
Oh,
and
my
she
goodness.
said that she said, I didn't want to be sacrilegious, but she said all I could think of is the support group and what would it come out of that group and how she could handle it. And she said that she just sat there and thought about, okay, how would the group handle this? What would Janet do? And all this. And she said, I got through the Thanksgiving weekend with all of my family that were telling me how to take care of my mom. And then they got in their car and drove away.
Yeah.
And she said, I was left with it.
Yeah.
And she said, all I did was walk over and give Mom a kiss on the cheek, and I handled it. So she got through that from the group. People got through it because of the group, and it really is. I miss the group more than or as much as they do because it's so uplifting.
Right. So it sounds like there's people that are in the group and then potentially after their loved one passes, stay with the group to kind of give advice because they're actually on the other side of the caregiving. Is that something that's happening?
They will for a short period of time. Until they transition out. And then they'll come and say goodbye.
Yeah.
They'll come and because it's a family.
Right.
They will say goodbye to everybody. There's tears, and then then they're not there anymore.
Because that's a whole different ball game. Once you've been a caregiver and that's your life has been entrenched in that, because I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And your life is entrenched and that's all you know, and every day it's like that's your whole focus. And then all of a sudden it's not. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's like you're running and then you have to stop.
Yeah, there's adrenaline every day. You're running. It's and because my dad had vascular dementia, it was a little bit, I don't want to use the word, but I'm going to say a little crazy town because you just never knew what was going to happen. So, and it was very stressful. And then he really actually passed away quite suddenly. It progressed really quickly. But all of a sudden he was gone, and I'm standing there going, and then you have all the guilt, all the what if guilt. If I had done this differently, 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 would we had a different outcome? So do you find that with caregivers that they're finding all this guilt of if I had made him eat more vegetables, if I had taken him on, made him walk more, if I had, done these different things, would he still be here? I mean, is that something that you get faced with a lot?
And that's the reason they stay in the group for a little bit.
Okay.
To know that they're okay, that what they've done, and to get the support from someone that understands what they've gone through.
Right.
They're not there for years. They're not there even for months. They come back there to say thank you.
Right.
For the support and the love and the education and resources they've gotten. And just to know they'll come for a little while and then, but no one else that understands what they've gone through. Plus they have established some relationships there. So it's not a bereavement group, it's a support group.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really thank you, ladies. This was really just so much information. I learned a lot that I didn't know. And this is a subject that's really near and dear to me, just because, our company, SeniorLivingGuide.com, has such a heart for seniors. We care about seniors and their caregivers. Clearly we're a company that wants to provide good housing solutions and home health care solutions for them, which is what we do. But we really have a heart for them in general, and really providing them the best information for everything for them is really our key. So I really appreciate the fact that you were able to come out today and really share so much information. And we look forward to having you every week or twice a month come on our podcast station and share all the wealth of knowledge that you have, which is extensive. So it's going to be exciting.
We're excited to be here because in the exam room you can only change one life at a time, one family at a time, or at a community lecture maybe 10 people, 20 people. This lets us help more people and we just are feeling great about it.
Right. And knowledge is power.
It is.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Thank you.